years have just come alive if you are into recruiting, or regardless if you're into recruiting or not. As number one commit in the country, LSU commit Bryce Underwood flips his commitment from LSU to Michigan. The number one player in the country, the number one player on your big board, a guy that had been committed to you for quite a long time, has now flipped. 2 weeks ago, I came out on the show. 7 days ago, I put on Twitter and said to you, at some point, and you can go find the archives of these shows, just in case you don't believe what I'm saying at the current moment. At some point, money is money. At some point, home is home. At some point, your anemic approach to offense is what did you in. You would have done the same exact thing that they did, like you did last year for Don McKinley. This one stings. This one desperately and utterly stings. There's not a facet of this that you can twist. Now, you could lead and do other actions to replace a guy like a Bryce Underwood, go in the portal, pray to God you hit on a Joe Burrow, pray to God you hit on another Jaden. This one stings. What are you going to do if Garrett Nussmeier doesn't return? Is Garrett Nussmeier going to progress and be better next season? That is the ultimate question. So we will talk here for a moment about Bryce Underwood flipping. Some things that I've already heard throughout the day. This had already started to build around 9, 10 o'clock this morning. Michigan fans really getting after there. Some Michigan media started putting out there, today is going to be a good day for them. They had kind of been quietly saying to themselves, cockily but humbly, that today was going to be a good day for them, and yet it has been. And yet it has been. Because you were 2 weeks away from signing the number one player in the country, what some believe is a generational quarterback, and you were unable to hold on. Look, I think that this answers a lot of questions of what you have to do in the offseason, of the direction of your program, and where it's being led. Now, in case you didn't know, 2 weeks ago when Bryce Underwood came to Baton Rouge, it was for the Alabama game, and you got curb stomped. And coming out of that game, we had asked ourselves, how bad is it that you go up against Alabama with the number one player in the country and you get curb stomped? What does that look like? What happens when you get curb stomped? What happens when you got curb stomped by A&M in the second half? Guys, this is a factor. It's a massive factor. Coming out of that, the discussion that you and I had said that I didn't know that he would flip because LSU was going to be very competitive in NIL. But at some point, there was going to be a number that you don't walk away from to stay at home. Guys, the number's there. That's not my reporting. That's On3 in Michigan reporting. Good on them. But yet this is another instance where LSU has been in a high-profile recruitment and lost. And I keep, regardless if it's Bryce Underwood, regardless if it is a defensive tackle or a wide receiver, whatever the position may be, this is literally what happens every single time we get into these situations. You versus another school for a big-time recruit, whether it be portal or whether it be another instance, and you've maybe won one of them. The excuse I keep getting is money. Okay. It's very difficult for me to believe that Jay Johnson can spend the money that he's spending in the portal, the money that Kim Mulkey spends in the portal. It's difficult for me to look at Matt McMahon and some of the things that he did in the portal, and we're just supposed to say that resources are not here. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It has been an excuse from everybody, from the top to the bottom. Oh, this guy wants $1 million. You're about to pay 25% in TV revenue share to football players. So the $50, $60 million that you get every year from TV revenue, 25% of that is going to the players. And you're worried about paying them through NIL. But you weren't worried when you went and paid $3 million total dollars to buy out Blake Baker and pay for him to be your next DC. You weren't worried about money when you decided to pay a coach $10 million a year. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have done that for Brian Kelly, but you're doing it for coaches, and you're not doing what you got to do in this era to get players. And then, because you have Underwood committed and Denbrock leaves, you promote Joe Sloan, who wasn't ready. And I like Joe. I like him as a person a lot. But reality has got to be reality here. Guys, I tell you this every single waking moment when we talk recruiting. Every single time you and I talk recruiting, that I do radio hits for Ruffino and Joe Show, AYS, all across the country throughout the weeks. There's only one I go on every week because I love Bill King. Permanently. And every single time I have a conversation, you know what I hear if it's a central school, like if it's a central place. Like, for example, I have a buddy that works and covers for Ohio State. He had a podcast. Went on it like 2 weeks ago. One of their commercials is for their collective. Now, you can blame Brian Kelly on that. It's not all on him. That's an LSU Scott Woodward issue. You lead how this charge is gone. You lead it. Every radio show, every podcast, everybody should be promoting Bayou traditions. Because when Ryan Day walked out there about a year and a half ago, and he was asked, Coach, how much money do you need to give to your roster so that you can be where we want you to be? And he said $20 million. And in a blink of an eye, Caleb Downs goes into the portal. Quinshon Judkins goes into the portal. Other guys start going into the portal because of coaching changes, like Julian saying, and they didn't blink an eye. And I'm supposed to come out here acting as if that you are on the same par with what those teams are doing. You're not. You're not. I think you have done better as things have gone on. But from a football aspect, things are not being led the way they need to be led. I have warned you. I have thrown out hints. When we talked about during the portal period, during the spring portal period, a lot of you in here got mad at me saying, Blake, ain't no way I'm paying for players. And you know what? That is your prerogative. You shouldn't have to. The simple fact that an entity and university has to ask you to help pay for players is not what college football is supposed to be about at all. Fans are not supposed to be asked to add on over and over and over again. They're not supposed to be. Not the basic fan. But it's where we are in reality. It's where we are. In the NIL era, LSU is 37-23 as a football program. And I look at other teams, whether it be baseball under Jay Johnson, whether it be Kim Mulkey. We'll see in what I compare to be a year two for Matt McMahon. This is what I consider here year two for him. What is he able to do? Because I know that Matt McMahon is fully invested into recruiting. I know that Kim Mulkey is fully invested into recruiting. Jay Johnson literally sleeps at the facility during portal season. The man doesn't go home. Blake, you're overreacting to a 5-star number 1 overall player. Maybe I am. But this is the cherry on top of the microcosm of everything that's been going on here. You've been getting, guys, UFOs. Think about this. Where is this crazy son of a gun going? We had a Senate hearing committee where a guy testified under oath that UFOs were real in the last month. In that time span, if I would have told you a month ago when LSU was 6-1 that we would confirm that UFOs were real, and then LSU won't win a game in the next month, you would have said, if I said pick whichever one's going to come to fruition and light here, you would say, well, clearly LSU is going to win a game in the next month. UFOs aren't real. And here we sit and here we are. In case you didn't see it, that's all over my Twitter feed. You better land Jakeem Stewart, man. You better land him. Because I tell you, good gracious as bodacious, flirtations trying to show pain. I swear to you, if you do not get dudes in here, nothing changes. Oh, I think this guy can play. Oh, I think that guy can play. I don't give a frick if you think he can play. I need you to know that he can play. I didn't even listen to the Brian Kelly press conference today, to be honest with you. We're supposed to talk about it. I have no idea. I mean, I'll go based off of some of the things that I saw on Twitter, but guys, I'll tell you the truth. Here's the God's honest truth. About an hour ago, I got a phone call and said it was over. And I didn't believe it, really. I'm like, okay, I've heard this. I've had the same phone call probably 20 times in the last 2 months. And all the other 19 of them was, man, Michigan's offering more money than LSU. Michigan's offering more money than LSU. And this is not an LSU guy on one of them. I think the staff is shell-shocked. I think that they are I don't know if there's a word in the human vocabulary or the English vocabulary that can determine what's going on at football ops right now. Legitimately. It's a bad day. Guys, I'm telling you, and by the way, you got a game in 2 days that I don't know if you can win. See, on Monday, I predicted that I said something tongue-in-cheek just to be stupid. I said, I'm picking Vandy to beat LSU this week. Prove to me that you can win this game. And now I'm going to look like a jackass for piling on, but I'm not changing anything. You're in trouble. You're in serious trouble right now. Now, you still have a top 10 class. How, I have no idea. You gotta land the number 2 player in your state. And you better pray to God that you can hang on, and you better overpay. Guys, that you can disagree with that, but it's the reality of where you are. The reality is you're the team that has to overpay to get guys to come here. You're that team right now. That's perception is reality in the moment. You're able to see the hindsight of things once it's the past. But right now, reality is the perception. You're failing on the field. You're probably going to go need to get an offensive coordinator that's worth a damn. You're probably going to throw it out there. You're going to have a serious conversation about what you're doing at quarterback. You're going to have a serious conversation about what you're doing at guard. You're going to have a serious conversation if a 5'9", 200-pound running back is effective enough in the SEC to run in between the tackles. By the way, Harlan Berry he may be the next Reggie Bush. That's what On3, 247, Rivals, ESPN, they have labeled that kid that. I have not. I refuse to do that. Reggie Bush is arguably the greatest running back of all time. I'm not doing that. You better land him. Can a 185-pound back run in between the tackles in the SEC? So you might need to go in the portal and get somebody who would lace up their chin strap and run somebody's run through somebody's face mask like I see Raheem Sanders doing every week. Guys, South Carolina's O-line sucks. Doesn't matter because they got two bowling balls that run dudes flat over. You're going to have a serious conversation about what you're doing at wide receiver. I was perceived that Kywin would be your number one and that I had a quarterback that could get him the ball effectively. You don't have either one of them. Aaron Anderson's your best offensive weapon right now. And to be real, I don't know if he's not your best overall player offensively right now. By the way, Aaron Anderson was rated a 5-star above Will Campbell and above Emory Jones. Well, Emory Jones has failed out of the first round because of his subpar play, and Will Campbell continues to fall. You got a reality check, if I've ever seen one, staring you in the face. Staring you square in the face. Everybody we're 20 minutes in. We got a lot that we got to discuss. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all those groups on Facebook and social media pages. If you have thoughts, questions, concerns, I see that we have a lot of super chats already in the show. If you want to comment red, we can do that. I'm going interns, Jimmy. I'm changing this up. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to read some super chats and we're going to take in live phone calls. So I'm going to read super chats, live phone calls. Actually, I might do the live phone calls at the end. Hold on, because I need to get to keys to victory. But you know what? Screw it. I'll do that last. We are going to get to live phone calls here. So we're going to do that. We are going to do that because I want to hear from you, the fan base. It's a very, very, very bad day. There's no way to spin this. People will spin it. People will spin it. It's not spinnable. That's what she said. All right. Michael Moore says, just when I thought I couldn't feel worse about how the football season is going. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, it's a bad place to be right now. You're losing. You're getting your teeth kicked in. Offensively, you're really bad. Defensively, you're really bad. I don't think that you are in a situation where that you don't know how to not turn the football over. I don't know if you have a playmaker that's legitimately coming back at wide receiver next year. What does Aaron Anderson do? If I'm Aaron Anderson, why do I come back? Why? Why would I come back? Adam, with a $6 Canadian super chat, $7 Canadian super chat. I appreciate him joining us here. Lavore Lee, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. Lavore with a $2 super chat says Underwood's flip just means we have to match Michigan. Listen, brother, LaVore, I'm just going to throw this out there. It's over. In my humble opinion, when a kid flips this late, okay, I don't think that I don't think that you're going to flip him. Look, I'll tell you, you were right there with Michigan. I'll tell you, you're right there with them. In the end, they outbid you. So the bottom line is that we're in a situation where you're not getting him back, man. I'm sorry, you're not getting him back. All right, a couple more. We'll take some phone calls. I think Jake Crane's kind of trying to get in here, guys. If you get it, answer it. Tim Benson says, I'm sick. Fire Sloan now. RIP to the Band-Aid off. Rip the Band-Aid off, excuse me. Blake, what good does it do to overpay coach but not have enough money for NIL? Massive L for Scott Woodward. You'll disagree, but I'm pissed. Look, here's the problem that I have with the coach thing. Everybody else pays their coach around $8 to $10 million. So the issue that I have at the current moment about paying your coach $10 million is, look, Kirby gets paid a shitload of money. Dan Lanning just got a massive extension. Kalen DeBoer's around there. They're recruiting. Texas paid Sark a shitload of money. A&M's doing a $50,000. Hey, Jake, you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
$50,000 in plate dinners. So I don't want to hear in reference to, oh, well, you're paying a coach $10 million. You can't spend NIL money. No, you're dysfunctional and unorganized. All right. Jake Crane from Crane and Company has called into the show. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Hey, my man. Look, hey, here's what I want to say. I don't know, the financial situation of what LSU could have done if they could have matched it or whatever. My question is, if LSU was having the year that some of us thought they could possibly have, how much of that could have negated the amount of money that Bryce Underwood is getting offered? I don't blame a kid for taking 10 or 12 million. To be honest with you, Blake, if I have a son and he gets offered 12 million out of high school to go play quarterback, it's going to be really hard for me to tell him no. But here's where my problem is. Where is LSU swag at? What do you mean you don't have the money? I'm from Auburn, Alabama. I grew up not fearing Alabama, but what y'all had down in Baton Rouge, because I know deep down what they really think about us. But when we used to play you guys, it was the fear of God, not just because of who you had, but what you have. How has LSU fallen to a point where you can get all these baseball recruits, all these women's basketball recruits, all the stuff that has gone on in the periphery, what Matt McMahon's trying to do, even the gymnastics team, but you can't scrape together enough and offer and be able to put out a product on the field that is good enough to keep this level of a commit. Again, Brian Kelly, say what you want about him on the field. I don't know the financial situation. And Blake, I know you got a lot of people that want to call in, my friend, and that's a testament to you. But it is amazing to me how far this LSU football program has fallen from not only a performance standpoint, but from a perception standpoint. Y'all used to drown people in a small puddle of water. When they came down to the bayou, it was you either beg and bend the knee and kiss the ring, or they're going to kill you. And that is gone right now from this LSU program. You can say what you want. You can make all the excuses. But if LSU was sitting here with 1 or 2 losses, I don't think it goes down like that. But you've lost your swag, you've lost your bag, and now you're about to lose your tag. And I hate it for them. I hope they figure it out. But at the end of the day, you did this to yourself. You've got nobody to blame but yourself. And I hate it for you guys because y'all love y'all's team like we all love our team. And this is unacceptable what's going on the field, what's going on off the field, and what's going on through the program. So I know I sound like I'm an LSU fan. I'm not. Brother, I'm praying for y'all, but this one hurts. I will say this. He better ball. He better ball. And if I'm Garrett Nussmeier, I've got all the leverage now. I'm about to get every penny out of y'all that I could possibly get. So that's what I got to say, brother. I know you want.
Well, I got a question for you. I just saw that you put up a poll, so I'm going to ask you the question. You put out a poll, said LSU fans, would you want Garrett Nussmeier to come back? Jake, let me ask you that question. What would you like, based off of what you've seen out of him? What would you want if you were an LSU fan?
I would want him back. I would just want an offensive line that stops talking about it and starts being about it. I would want wide receivers that go out there and don't yell at the coach. They yell at the fans when they get in the end zone because they know how they time their jumps. Again, I don't think Nussmeier is as big of a problem as what people think, but now you've got to get him back because the unknown could be worse. And in the transfer portal, just like the stock market, you can only get what the market bears. And my biggest thing is, if you're Joe Sloan, I don't think it's going to be Nuss that's going to be gone. I think Joe Sloan is really on the hot seat now because this is your offense. This is your guy pulling the trigger. And this was the thing that LSU fans could look forward to. I just put out a post that said it's one thing to mortgage the present. It's another to mortgage the future.
No doubt.
So I think Nuss has to come back now.
I mean, Jake, in less than 2 weeks, you can find somebody that you know that's going into the portal. I mean, even then, you're taking a massive risk, right? I mean, like, it's not like Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow falls off on lemon trees.
Well, not Blake, not even that. I don't think there's a Cam Ward out there in this class. Like, just because you have the transfer portal doesn't mean you're going to be it's just like the NFL draft. Position groups come and go. Sometimes the quarterbacks are really heavy. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's heavy on D-line. Sometimes it's not. So you're really beholden to the market. But I'm the type where a bird in the hand is better than a bird in the bush. And Nuss has proven to me, just like every other quarterback in the history of existence that has had success, is if you put the right pieces around me and you protect me, I can get you the bag. Now more than ever, it has to be a full court press on Garrett Nuss. Nobody won more tonight more than Garrett Nussmeier. There is not a person in the state of Louisiana, I don't care if they're a senator or they work at a 7-Eleven, that won more tonight than Garrett Nussmeier.
Jake, that's what makes you the best in this business. By the way, your thought on the your comment and your opening monologue on the playoff, I thought was fantastic, by the way. I agree with you 100%.
Well, Blake, listen, I want what's best for the sport. The problem is college football is the most unbreakable thing that there is. They sue NIL with no strings. They sue the transfer portal with no strings. You can play 30 years now. Unless they take a political standpoint on something, it's like a Snickers bar. It's just good. You can put a brownie in it. You could put peanut butter in it. You could put caviar or even dog shit on it. It's still going to be good. It just is what it is. But I like to attack complexity with simplicity and metrics and values. But hey, I'm just a country boy from the 334, man.
I appreciate you calling in, buddy. You know it.
Hey, I love you, bro. Hey, you're killing it. You're the best in the freaking business. I hope everybody listen to this, everybody at Believe, everybody at Bet Online or Bet US or whatever it is understands how you really care, bro, and you really say what you think. And that is an absolute fossilized version of what we have in the media now. That's what we do at Crane & Company. But here, I don't want to take any more of your time, brother. Let the LSU faithful get in here.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Hey, I love you, bro. Tell my nephew I said hey.
Yeah, and congratulations on the baby, man. I sure will. Thanks, buddy.
I hope she looks like my wife. I know we all do.
I know that. See you later, buddy. All right, Jay Crane, Company. I'm glad that he called in. Let me get to a couple of these super chats. Back to Tim really quickly. He says, massive L for Scott Woodward. It is a massive L for Scott Woodward. It is a massive L for him right now because there are scuttlebutts about what he does and doesn't want to do in the transfer portal. And I think it takes a guy like Jay Johnson to come out here and say, I'm going to do what I need to do to win natties. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. So, Tim, it's a bad look, man. Here's what I'm going to say. I agree with everything Jake said, especially that Garrett is the biggest winner of this situation that happened. The problem that I have with that is I'm still kicking the tires on every transfer portal quarterback that goes out there. It's just me. Steve Bain says that frees up money to keep the rest of the commits and go out in the portal. Surely coaches didn't just find out. Big crossroad for LSU and BK. I mean, listen, to Steve's point here, and thank you, Steve, for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I mean, man, I felt like this is what I felt like if you watch this show religiously. What I felt like is that we were in a situation where 2 weeks ago, when I came out here and said, listen, at some point, money's going to be money. Home is going to be home. And at some point today, it was. It was. So you're now in the 2-week stretch here. Here's another thing. I put this on the forum. I'll throw it out there. Cade Phillips is going to Texas this weekend, or is planning, or was supposed to be planning on going to Texas this weekend on a visit. I mean, so you better hold on here. You're going to have to overpay. You're going to have to, guys, you're going to have to go in the portal. Garrett or quarterback or no quarterback, Garrett or no Garrett. You got to go get dudes if you want to mask this. Like, legitimately. There's no other option that you have right now. So if you go out and get an FCS level player to come in here and play DT, guys, is that some gun better have 20 sacks in the FCS level before he comes here. He better be freaking unstoppable. Braden Fisk had 13 sacks or whatever it was at Western Michigan. Everybody knew Braden Fisk was going to be a dude. You did not pay what Florida State was willing to pay. You weren't. Guys, Braden Fisk, wasn't he a second round, like early second round pick? Like the Rams drafted Jared Verse and him. 2 guys that they got for the portal. You can't live and die by the portal, right? Like you cannot live and die by it. And I agree with all of you that you cannot live and die by the portal. But if you don't go get at least 5 to 10 difference makers, whether it be in high school recruiting or whether it be in the portal, you're not going to be better. By the way, the SEC schedule changes and flips over. So meaning instead of having Alabama at home, you face them on the road next year. Instead of having Oklahoma at home, you face them on the road next year. Vandy, I mean, yeah, Vandy is what it is. You still face them on the road next year. Ole Miss, you face on the road next year. You got Arkansas at home. You got A&M at home. You got South Carolina at home. So the big hitters, you're going to have to play away from Tiger Stadium. And you're trying to tell me that we have – how about this? I'm not even going to ask or put the part up. How about this? Thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you think that we're better? Do you think that we have the dudes right now to be in a playoff run next year? Because I don't. I legitimately don't. All right, SWB with a $20 super chat says, Brian Kelly has destroyed LSU, the best politician in football today. I don't think he's destroyed it. Guys, let me just say this. And SWB, I appreciate the super chat. I'll answer this question. I don't think that he's destroyed it. What I do think has happened here is that we have gotten into a situation where that it could be much worse. It could be Ed Orgeron-ish. Guys, you're not even close to being how bad that this can be. This could be the beginning of something really good or something really bad. Jeremy Hyde says, just curious, Blake, do you think BK is putting the program behind? I know this ain't all his fault, but just curious on your thoughts. I don't think it's all him. Guys, here is the whether you agree or not, this is my humble opinion. My humble opinion is until you start running out there with Bayou Traditions, which is in LSU's collective, until you start running out there and you start paying, like getting people to pay $10, $50, $100 a month here or there. Guys, think about this. Think about this, okay? Let's just say, for an example, you got 10,000 people to give $100 a month. That is $1 million a month. I think that LSU should be able to separately get 10,000 people a month to give the program $100 a month to go into the portal. That's $12 million a year. And I'm just talking about football related. You cannot convince me that there aren't people in Louisiana, that there's not 10,000 LSU alumni that cannot give $100 a month to get $1 million a month. Now, maybe you need to get more or less, whatever. Maybe you have extra, maybe you need more. You get what I'm saying. I'm ballpark figuring this. Guys, when we come on this show every day, we should be in a situation where Bayou Traditions is the number one commercial that we run. And it should be on replay over and over and over again. I'll give you an example. By the way, I need to say this before I move on, because I do have, speaking of bills I had to pay, I forgot about it. BetOnline.ag, guys, use the promo code today, Believe50. That's Believe50, BLEAV50. You'll receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BetOnline.ag, where the action starts. Go over there today, share it, do all of it. We greatly appreciate it. That's what I believe. I don't know if you believe that. That's what I believe. Thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat if you agree with it, because it's what I believe. General Grievous with a $5 super chat says, just send whatever we have at the 5-star DBs, 5 million, 10 million, whatever they want. Give them part ownership of Mike if that helps. Why don't we not get him? Why don't we not give him ownership of Mike? Why don't we give him Omar Bradley, the fake Tiger, the fat one, the Garfield-looking one? If you win a Heisman, we'll let you have Mike. How about that? How about that? SW, I'm not paying, by the way, I'm not paying a corner what I'm paying a quarterback. There's no way. This is what I would, hold on. SWB, before I get to your second super chat here, and then we'll get some phone calls. Here, quarterback, left tackle, defensive lineman. Let me repeat. Quarterback, left tackle, all defensive lineman. Those should be, and maybe a safety. Those should be the 3 highest paid guys on your roster right now, depending on who they are and who you have. I'm going to throw this out there too. Guys, the NFL has perfected this for a reason. The reason that quarterback, left tackle, defensive lineman are the highest paid positions is why? It affects the game more than any one of them. It's not a broken system. Guys, I look at Major League Baseball. I look at Jay Johnson. I look at teams around. Guys, there's a strong chance. Think about this. As chaotic as this football season has been, as chaotic as it's been, the 4 teams that likely could make it to the playoff in the Final Four this year, Oregon, Ohio State, Ole Miss, let's just say Bama or Georgia. Outside of Georgia, Bama spent a shitload of money in the portal. Ole Miss spent a shitload of money in the portal. Ohio State spent a shitload of money in the portal. Oregon spent a shitload of money in the portal. Like, is this new? Is this anything new? When you pay to have the best, this is what happens. All right. I'll take some phone calls here. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the phone number. You can call into the show. Tell us what you think about the Bryce Underwood flip. I still need to get to keys to victory. I don't know when we're doing that, but you can call into the show. SWB. What is BK's biggest win in 34 years? Bama a couple years ago. Probably Bama a couple years ago. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS postgame look, I'm already doing postgame show. This is a normal show. Bryce Underwood has decommitted and flipped to Michigan. Your thoughts? Who do we have the pleasure of talking to?
Blake, this is boy Sydney. What's happening?
Sydney, I'm not doing too great. What about you?
Hey, man. It's the way of the world now. It's the way of the world now. It's we will spend that money. And it's crazy. I just texted my partner probably 30 minutes after the news came out. He didn't believe me. I said, bro, Bryce is going to Michigan. You know, I'm playing. But we wasn't really surprised because, I mean, $10.5 million is $10.5 million. And as a kid, 18, 19 years old, as much as I love LSU or whatever, I might would have did it. I ain't gonna cap. I probably would have did it.
I don't hate the kid for it. I don't hate the kid for it. Let me just say this. If you're going to spend that amount of money, why would I hate the kid? Like, think about this.
Right.
You could put $10.5 million in a mutual fund and live off the interest the rest of your life. That's what we're talking about right now. Okay? Like, this isn't
right.
You can get $100,000 a year just off the interest in a simple mutual fund. Okay? This sets this kid up for life. I'm not hating on the kid. But when these reports continue to come out, and Sydney, I got to be – you watch the show every week. I came out here and I said, listen, at some point, this money going to get too much and you're going to get egg on your face. And, you know, people just thought that I was a crazy lunatic Italian, I guess. But, look, man, there's one thing that I know. I tweeted this and deleted it. Okay? Some of you saw the tweet and DM'd me about it. Money talks and bullshit walks.
I saw it.
Shouldn't have deleted it. I shouldn't have deleted it.
I mean, it's the way. I mean, now let's say, like you said, now you don't have. You was in the ballpark. At least you gave your fair shot. You know, you did what you thought you could do to get the kid. But I mean, at the end of the day, home is home. He can be the hometown hero. All that whoop. But in his case, he better win.
Oh yeah, he better win.
He better win because if he don't, let's just say, 'cause this ain't like I was telling my friends, this ain't the old Big Ten no more. You ain't just worry about Ohio State. You got Oregon, you got SC, you got Washington, you got Indiana now, you got Nebraska. So this ain't just Ohio State and that's it. You still got Penn State. So this ain't just the Ohio State and that's all well and good. No, you have a whole conference.
Yeah, and Oregon more than likely is going to be the team that you're competing in titles against over and over and over again.
Right.
So, Sydney, I appreciate the phone call, buddy. Thank you, man.
You already know.
225-435-9387 is the phone number. 225-435-9387 is the phone number to call in. I don't even know. I think this is going to be the first Thursday, maybe ever, that we that we are not going to probably even get to a keys to victory. But it's all right. General says Pickett just posted a pic of him in an Oregon uni. Well, let's go see. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the Bryce Underwood commitment flip show. Your thoughts on what's going on?
What's up, Blake? This is Joshua from 337.
What you thinking right now, man?
Honestly, I'm not surprised. When you lose 3 back-to-back games, and 2 games that especially you shouldn't have lost, and then not only that, but you had 300 recruits in a stadium where you got blown out by 30 plus points. So I'm not that surprised. Honestly, I'm upset about it. I was kind of mind blown. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't have many words.
I mean, I'm not mind blown at all. Again, money talks and bullshit walks. I mean, that it's the simple nature, man. The kid's probably going to get around $2 to $2.5 million a year to be the quarterback at Michigan. And to be honest with you, you had Dave Portnoy go out there and say, "I'm going to give the money." And then here's the bad thing too. Then when you had everything to play for against Bama, whether it be championship, SEC championship, number 1 recruit in the country, you piss down your leg. So
yeah,
you kind of deserved
100%. 100%. I had one question for you, Blake.
Sure.
So obviously I know your take on Vanderbilt this weekend. So you think that we're probably not going to win that game. At least that's maybe your thought.
Tongue in cheek, but if you do not play fundamentally sound defensively, you are going to lose. Yes.
Right, 100%, because we can't stop a running quarterback to save our lives.
That's correct.
If we lose this game versus Vanderbilt, do you think that Jakeem Stewart, Pickett, all the other, and Barry, obviously, do you think that our recruiting class is going to go to absolute shit if we lose this game?
Look, man, if you want me to play a hypothetical game with you, here's what I'm not going to do. I don't know. Here's what I'd say. I'm going to be mature about it, as much mature about it as I can. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But here's the counteract to that. Michigan's also getting their shit kicked in. So what do you do in that situation? You pay the money. So there's a counteract to this. If you're a serious program, you would have to overspend. So the truth of the nature is that everybody can hate this shit as much as they want to, but if you don't want to lose the core nucleus of your class, you're going to spend the money.
Right. Yeah, 100%. You got to spend the money.
Got to spend the money. Got to find it somewhere. Thanks, man. I appreciate the phone call.
Absolutely. Have a good one, Blake.
All right, 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the phone number to call in. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS Thursday show. Your thoughts on the initial state of the program?
Hey, Blake. Stephen Young here.
What you thinking, Stephen?
Well, 50,000-foot view. We all know how the season is. It is what it is. But we all had the equity. The coaches had the equity of what was coming in. I mean, people have been saying the cavalry's coming, right? You don't have the dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And there may still be some of them, right? I don't know if it's going to fall apart or not, but my biggest concern in this whole thing isn't just the flip. It's we got the wrong coach. And I came to that conclusion shockingly. I wasn't expecting to, but I hear Jay Johnson. I hear Ken Mulkey. They're obsessed. They're insane. They will not stop. And you got Brian Kelly. A little thing comes out here, a little thing comes out there. He's spending 2 months a year on the golf course. You know what he is? He's not invested. He's a good coach, but he's 2020 and 2021 Ed O without the skanky hope picks.
I'm not responding to that.
I'm just saying. We all saw it. I'm not saying anything you don't know.
Well,
I'm not saying it's that bad, but he just doesn't put in. He talks about the process and attention to detail, but he's not putting in the work like these other coaches are doing, and it shows. And it shows for them that they get the opposite result.
Well, I mean, look, he's not going to be the only one that flips here. Okay, so
I don't think he is. I mean, we've already lost Meadows. Meadows, I think, is going to Michigan. I just saw that.
Meadows has been gone. So I mean, that's been that. I mean, they hadn't talked to the kid in a couple of weeks, so I fully expect the kid going to be gone. So I mean, I'm not.
But is it a bigger concern to lose recruits, or is it a bigger concern to have a coach that has not shown he's putting in the sweat and the and the desire and what's necessary to actually be elite when other coaches in the programs are, and they're getting the results?
Stephen, I think that this problem is a little bit more than BK at the current moment too. I'm not defending him. Okay, I
don't disagree. It's Woodward.
Well, then if it is Woodward and he does not have the funds, or he doesn't have the situation to where he can go out there and do what these other teams are doing, what do you expect him to do? Let me just ask. If he's not being provided through his athletic department, who has issues with NIL, at least with football, what do you want him to do?
I want him to stick his foot on Woodward's throat like these other coaches do and say, this is my job and you're not giving me the support, so I'm just going to go take it. I mean, I don't know what else you would do. But I don't know if he even cares. He's a politician. I don't think he even has enough fire in his gut to do that.
Oh man!
Obviously, are you telling me Woodward is giving Jay and Kim all they need, but not Brian?
No. Well, here's what I know. I don't know. I can't speak on the women's basketball side. I can speak on baseball side. Jay Johnson does what Jay Johnson wants to do. And you're not going to tell Jay no. It's not happening. If Jay ever gets to a place where he's not doing what you expect him to do, then there's a massive disconnect inside a building somewhere.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. But are you telling me that Brian doesn't have that same leverage if he wanted it?
I mean, he's got
in the football program.
Hold on. He's got $100 million guaranteed. He has all the leverage. So he can do whatever he wants. What are you going to do, pay him out?
Well, yeah, I mean, at the point where I don't know what the balance is between resources and care, but I mean, we've heard the stuff. I mean, it's obvious that, this dude isn't, I'm not saying he should sleep in his office every night, but when you have another coach that's doing it, it's night and day.
The other coach also doesn't have $100 million guaranteed either. So you can get mad at BK all you want, and we could say fire him, but I don't think that anybody plausibly believes that that's even close to being likely, Stephen. I mean, it's not. Let me just say this: if you won't spend the money to buy him out, you sure as shit aren't going to. Well, no. If you're not going to spend $1 million to get a defensive tackle that's going to be second team all SEC that's at Oklahoma right now, you sure the fuck are not going to go out there and spend $61 million.
Well, I mean, they spent a crap ton on the defensive staff last year.
If you're not going to get the players, you're not. All right. Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not trying to argue. I'm just throwing this out there. It's the conclusion that I'm looking at, and I'm like, I'm not saying you're going to buy them out. I'm just saying
you're paying for all the coaches, and you won't pay for players. Here's what BK's been saying. He's been shadowily saying it in press conference, and nobody picks it up. He's been saying it's our thought as an administration that TV revenue share is going to help with money. And what he's basically trying to tell you is that's the administration's thought process on NIL. The truth is NIL doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't. It doesn't. So until you figure out what you're going to do as a program, nothing's going to change. I appreciate the phone call, buddy.
Well, yeah, one more thing real quick. remember that Brian Kelly did say we're not in the business of buying players. I'll throw that out there.
And I'll throw this out there. I don't believe him.
Okay.
You think do you think that we're getting these 5 stars without promising them and paying them money?
No, I don't believe that.
Okay.
That's a pipe dream. I mean, come on, that's not what I'm saying. But anyway, I'll let you get to somebody else. Good night, bud.
Thanks. All right, we'll keep taking phone calls here. I guess screw my keys to victory. Fuck them. All right, you're on with Blake Rufino. This is the AYS Bryce Underwood show. Your thoughts?
We
can barely hear you, bud.
I said, I've been saying that the last few days, I thought this was going to happen with Bryce flipping. I thought this was going to happen. I think it's going to get worse, like you said earlier.
Why do you think that?
This has the potential to be terrible.
It does.
I mean, this could be absolutely terrible next year. I mean, because even if we bring Nuss back, Nuss isn't the answer. I mean, he just hasn't shown it this year. So even if we bring him back, and it's gonna be like a domino effect, because even without Nuss, who else do we have coming up behind him? Ricky Collins.
I think Ricky Collins
all
leaves.
these guys are untested. No playing time.
Well, I think Ricky Collins and Colin Hurley leaves.
You know, I mean, so I think this could get, and Bryce is not going to be the only one to flip. There will probably be another one or two of these guys.
Meadows is going to be next.
But, you know, I think it could be somebody else. You know, I mean, we could really, really lose this class. If we lose the Vanderbilt, I mean, this could come crashing down. I mean, it really could. I mean, this could just be destroyed. I mean, and we can't get rid of BK. I mean, it's really a dark feeling right now because this could get bad, man. This could get bad. I mean, it's really sad in a way. It's really sad. I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I just knew it was going to happen. And it happened. I mean, and he's not going to be the only one. There's going to be some more. I mean, because, you got to think about it. A lot of these guys wanted to play with Bryce.
Yeah, they did. They did. I mean, the central thought is that Hurley and Collins leaves because of Underwood. What happens with them now? I think that's the ultimate decision. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
Appreciate it.
I mean, look, man. I'll tell you the sentiment. So I tweeted this out yesterday. People that responded to it because I just retweeted it. There was a tweet that I put out there that said "money talks, bullshit walks," and I put it in emojis. It did refer to this. You're on the phone with Blake Rufino. This is the Bryce Underwood show. Your thoughts?
Hey, what's going on, man? I was just wondering. I've been seeing a lot of people say that Colin Hurley was rated above Bryce Underwood.
He was never even remotely close.
I didn't think so either. Why do you think he's transferring? I mean, you don't think he's? I mean,
well, I think that the sentiment was that he was going to leave because of the fact that you had Bryce Underwood coming in, and seeing him this fall, and I think it was spring too, but definitely during the fall, I don't think he's remotely close to being ready. He's not remotely close. Neither is Ricky. And I don't know if Ricky Collins wants to wait. I don't know if Colin Hurley wants to wait. Quarterbacks leave, man.
Yeah, you're not really
and
then
you're a Nussmeier injury away from being in a real pickle.
Yeah, you're not really going to find, somebody that's willing to stick around like Nuss did. And I don't know, I guess, you just got to wait for the dominoes to fall to see who jumps into the portal and try to go get somebody, because what Nuss is doing is just, not up to par, not what we all expect. And all the fans around the country expect.
I agree. All right, man. Thanks for the phone call. I appreciate it. All right, 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387. All right, you're on the phone with Blake Ruffino. This is the AYS Bryce Underwood Show. Your thoughts?
What's up, baby man? What's going on, man?
Not good.
It feels, bro, Blake. We went from talking about the hunky badger
To the donkey badger.
We went from talking about the hunky badger and all the highs that we had from 3-4 weeks ago. This has been a roller coaster ass season, dog. And I've been around for a long time. I don't think my gut has hurt this bad in a long ass time. And the thing about it was, I think when we hired Brian Kelly, I just knew that the brightest days were about to come. Like, but you can't whiff on a whole defensive staff when you got a whole fucking, excuse my French, Heisman quarterback. We could have won. We already should have been in the playoffs. Already should have damn near won a championship already.
Should have won one.
On that. We should have won one last year, Blake. It's not even close. So now, that's the year we should have won. And now, with that staff and with the dudes we got now, and God bless it, I love my Tigers, man, but this ain't good enough. Blake, where do we go from here, dog? And I don't want to sit there and just be a naked Tiger and say, okay, this class is going to break up now. No, a lot of these players, they wanted to play with him, but a lot of them, they committed to the school and to the staff. Blake, who out there in this portal right now, who can you even target outside? You ain't finding a Ward. Who could you go after that can even resemble that? Because this is my thing. You cannot go into another offseason with Nuss being the man. Not saying he has to be challenged the same way that we got Daniels to come in. It has to be a competition. You can't have a dude and just say this is your job. I guarantee you, if Nuss has some fire under his ass and the fear of being benched because there's somebody else that could play, his play would have been nowhere near as bad. So where do we go? I don't know. You have to go.
Here is my ultimate opinion. You got to look at a portal in the quarterback in the portal. If you think that they have shown, and if they have shown things better than Nuss, you got to have a conversation. I think you need I think you need guard help. I do think one of the two big tackles comes back next year. I just don't know who yet. I'd probably assume Emory Jones. I don't know that to be true or fact. I'm making a speculation. That's not me reporting. I'm just saying. I think that you need a wide receiver. I think you need a running back. I think you need an entire defensive line. I think you need an entire linebacking core. I think you need an entire safety room. So if you want to ask me, what do I think? I think that you better go find – this is what I do. I swear to God. I'd go to First Bank of America, and I'd borrow $20 million, and I go pay everybody in this motherfucker because you cannot risk – because if you – let me tell you what happened with Ole Miss. I know this for a fact. Ole Miss promised money before having the money. So when they got the dudes, they went and got the money. So when they got the money and they paid the money, wait for it, guess what? If you make one playoff game, the TV revenue is around $20 million.
Come on, bro.
Think about that. Now, think about what happens if one of those playoff games are at home. Now think about if you make it all the way to a championship game.
You got a war chest for next year to do it all over again.
Look, man, I would call all the mafia, okay? And I would ask every mafia member to give me $1 million, and I'd promise them their money back because I go get every single body, every big name that hits the portal. And I said this when we were at Service Hawk Digital Media this week, okay? Here's my thought. Everybody wants to talk to me about team culture. Ohio State, Ole Miss, Oregon, all of them are looking at us, laughing at us about team culture. You know what makes team culture? The head coach.
Yep.
The coaches inside that building. The leaders inside your building. Hey, remember when Evan Stewart was a problem at Texas A&M? Why is he not a problem at Oregon?
He's happy.
He went 2 games with 4 targets. You didn't hear a peep out of him. The kid doesn't even tweet anymore. He doesn't even tweet anymore like he used to. What's the issues now?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk to me about team culture? I swear to God, I'd go get all the money that I could. I would literally reincarnate John Gotti and borrow $20 million.
Look, I got one question before I go.
All right.
Do you believe in Austin, the recruiting coordinator, to be able to facilitate this?
Well, Austin's not the recruiting coordinator.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He collects the money.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe in him at the current moment? I don't know, because here's what's going to see. This is where we're going to see where Austin really makes his bones here, because you're going to see how much this was Lane or how much this was Austin last year. Do you have the money right now to go in the portal and get dudes? Let me give an example. Simeon Burrow is a kid that you were after from Michigan State. He's going to be a first-team ACC defensive tackle, more than likely. I mean, that would have been $500,000 well spent.
Yeah, we definitely could use them now.
So,
thank you, Blake, brother.
all right, no problem. I appreciate it. Leighton Linder with a $5 super chat says, Blake, I always look for you to answers. I can't think straight to make a parlay bet on Bet Online. I'm heartbroken. What now? Well, here's the truth. Hold on. All right, here's the truth, Leighton. Here is my Week 13 picks. I'll give them to you. Week 13, we are 91-29 this year. I'm taking Ohio State over Indiana, Notre Dame over Army, Bama over Oklahoma. By the way, we were 9-1 last week, so you might not want to parlay it. If there's an iffy one, don't parlay it. Ole Miss over Florida, Penn State over Minnesota, Colorado over Kansas, Miami over Wake Forest, A&M over Auburn. But that game is a 3-point spread. I think that game is going to be really close. I'm taking Illinois over Rutgers and Arizona State over BYU. We were 9-1, and straight up picks this year were 91-29. All right. Yeah, Ben's screaming. He's pissed off that Bryce Underwood is he left. He's mad. I don't blame him for being bad. We'll take a couple more phone calls. 225-435-9387. 225-435-9387 is the number to call in if you want to tell us your thoughts. You can call in and we'll get to them. He says, keep going, Blake. You're right. Well, I mean, listen. Alexander. Army's not beating Notre Dame. It's not happening. It's not happening. All right. If that is it for the phone calls here, we're going to end it. We're going to call it. So until then, sorry we couldn't get the keys to victory. We'll see you Saturday on the postgame show. Until then, y'all have a good night. Peace.